Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of the Compact Coaster series. In this episode, we are building this ride, District 3. It is a kind of a construction site themed ride, and I really was not very happy with episode 4. It uses the same loony coaster, so I really wanted to kind of redeem the loony coaster for one of the compact coasters. So in this ride, we feature, I really love the way this lift came out. I think it's nice and bold and it gives it a really industrial kind of feel to it. But our first feature here is a drop, and it kind of feels like a free fall when you're on the inside of the seat. There's a coaster in real life like that, and I kind of sort of went for that look there. Another one of my favorite features on this one, which is actually the original idea behind building this ride, is this front overbank turn, kind of banking you outside towards the park, and I think it really just gives a nice entrance, and it's kind of unique maybe. So also we have a overbank turn, and this one we get to around 100 degrees or so, and then after that we dip right into this kind of like waste pit, and it's pretty high speed section through there for this coaster. Then after that, it just kind of wraps up to the top and then starts the brake runs. I decided to keep the station pretty simple, even though it is the most scenery and detailed station yet of the Compact Coaster series. I added in this overscreen, and I think that came out really neat. And on the inside, we do have a couple of lights. I'm going to switch over to night. So we get like the red light theme and that sort of thing for the inside of the coaster, and also a couple white lights to highlight the station. Just got a couple other lights placed around the track to kind of highlight some of the areas at night, and the sign really stands out and pops nicely. So the quick stats on this coaster: the excitement's at 4, the fear is around 2.5, and the nausea is under 1/2. It does have a 66-second duration, and the max speed's 40 miles an hour with a nearly 50-foot drop. The grand total of this blueprint, scenery, and all is around 6,300, so it's sure to fit any budget. And I think without any of the scenery, the coaster was around 4,000. So it is an extremely affordable coaster. Now let's jump into the construction of this coaster. To start off this ride, I wanted to go ahead and lay down a little bit of scenery for a kind of a guide for that front feature, since this was kind of one of my leading thoughts going into this coaster. The next thing I wanted to do was go ahead and try to route the pathing, since it is fairly dependent on the location of the front entrance and that sort of thing. And since this is going to be a really compact ride, I didn't want to run into any issues trying to lay pathing after the ride was done. So once I got the front entrance and the pathing kind of laid out what I was kind of hoping to get what I had in my mind, I went ahead and laid myself some outward boundaries. So it is actually a 10 by 9 grid, and this would make sure that I was staying as compact as possible. For the lift, I was really struggling to figure out which direction to take the lift on this one, since I was trying to keep it so compact and in a sort of a squarish rectangle fashion. I went with the lift going over the station platform. In the end, I'm really happy with the way that came out. I went ahead and built some scenery just to kind of see how the lift would look, because I'm going to be adding custom supports later. The next big design was the main inspiration for this, that overbanked or opposite banked kind of hill over the front entrance. Then after that, it was just a matter of trying to figure out how I wanted the rest of the layout to intertwine with everything. I finally came up with something that I was decently happy with, but ultimately in the end, I figured I was going to end up changing it, which I did. Let's go for a ride on this layout. So after that, I was checking some of the heat maps to try to make sure I could squeeze out all the excitement that I could in such a tiny track. I did end up editing a few more times, trying to reroute and do different sort of coaster routes and that sort of thing so I could get as most excitement as I could. However, I ended up reverting to something that's really similar to the original layout. Now I was kind of working on some more of the scenery, adding in the custom supports, which is a great new feature of the latest update for Planet Coaster. I feel like these are way more than just coaster supports. I've seen some people using them in very creative ways. One of the things I like to use them for now is just to have a mounting feature for signs and that sort of thing, whereas before I didn't really have that. I finished up the rest of the scenery and the final layout for the track off camera. I didn't do as much scenery as I could have for this ride. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I want to let you be able to add your own scenery to it and kind of customize this to your taste. And also, in the Compact Coaster series, we're keeping the scenery very generic so that it will fit into most career and challenge objectives that don't have scenery unlocked yet. All right, here's our final look for District 3. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I also hope you enjoy placing this coaster into your parks. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, or give it a thumbs down if you didn't. As always, a link for the blueprint is down in the description. There's also going to be a link to a video where I'm going to be giving you a couple of tips to place this one in your park, since it does involve terrain editing and a sort of specific manner to place the path. Thanks again for tuning in for this episode of the Compact Coaster series. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'll leave you here with another ride of this one.